There is a quiet question that most people never truly ask themselves. When was the last time you felt completely at peace? Not distracted, not waiting for someone to reply, not needing anything or anyone to make you feel whole, just at peace. If your happiness can be shaken by someone's silence, their absence, or the way they behave, then it is worth asking something deeper. Is that truly happiness, or is it dependence, quietly disguised as connection? This is where most suffering begins. From a very young age, you are taught to believe that happiness comes from outside of you, from connection, approval, attention, and validation. At first, it feels natural. It feels human. But over time, something subtle happens. You begin to lose control over your own inner state. Your mood starts to depend on how others treat you. Your peace begins to rise and fall based on their presence. And without realizing it, your happiness becomes fragile because it is no longer yours. This is what Buddhism calls attachment. Not love, but attachment disguised as love. And attachment creates suffering because it ties your inner world to conditions you cannot control. People change. People leave. People disappoint. And when your peace is built on them, it collapses every time they do. True peace begins the moment you understand something simple yet difficult to accept. Your emotional stability must come from within, not from anyone else. But this understanding requires a shift in awareness. You begin to notice how often you give away your energy, how often you ignore your own boundaries just to keep someone else comfortable, how often you accept behavior that quietly disturbs your peace. It may not feel significant in the moment, but over time it becomes exhaustion, overthinking, emotional instability, because you are paying for connection with something far more valuable, your peace. And here is the truth most people avoid. Not everyone deserves access to your time, your energy, or your presence. Peace is not something cheap or easy to build. It requires discipline. It requires clarity. It requires self-awareness. And yet, it can be disturbed very quickly when you allow the wrong influences into your life. This is why awareness is essential. You begin to ask simple but powerful questions. Does this person bring clarity or confusion? Do I feel calm or drained after interacting with them? Is this connection adding to my life or quietly taking from it? Learning to be alone becomes part of this process, not as isolation, but as understanding. Because solitude is not loneliness, it is clarity. When the noise fades, you begin to see yourself more clearly, your thoughts, your habits, your emotional patterns. And at first, this can feel uncomfortable because you are no longer distracted, you are present. But if you stay long enough, something changes. That discomfort becomes calm, that restlessness becomes awareness. And slowly, you begin to enjoy your own presence. You no longer need constant attention to feel complete. You no longer depend on others to stabilize your emotions. And that is where a deeper form of strength begins. Emotional independence. Not coldness, not distance, but the ability to feel, connect, and care without losing control of yourself. You are no longer reactive. You are no longer easily shaken. Your peace does not disappear because someone acts differently than you expected. You begin to see clearly that people behave according to their own nature, not according to your worth. And this understanding changes how you live. You stop chasing. You stop seeking constant validation. You stop depending on others for something that must come from within. Instead, you become grounded, stable, centered. And from that place, your relationships become healthier because they are no longer based on need. They are based on clarity. You give without expectation. You receive without dependence. You connect, but you do not lose yourself. And as this awareness deepens, something else becomes clear. Your energy matters more than you think. Every conversation, every thought, every reaction either strengthens your mind or weakens it. When your energy is scattered, your mind becomes unstable. When your energy is protected, your mind becomes clear. This is why not everything deserves your attention. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Not every opinion deserves your involvement. The more you react to everything, the more you lose control. But when you learn to observe without immediately responding, something powerful happens. You remain centered. You respond with intention, not impulse. And that is where true control begins. Not control over others, but control over yourself. Over time, this creates something rare, inner stillness, a state where your mind is no longer constantly pulled in every direction. where small problems no longer feel overwhelming, where external situations no longer disturb your inner state. And in that stillness, you begin to understand something profound. Peace was never something you needed to find. It was something you needed to protect from your own habits, from your own attachments, from your own expectations. Because at the core of everything, one truth remains. Your happiness was never meant to depend on anyone else, not on their presence, not on their behavior, not on their approval. And the moment you truly understand this, something changes permanently. You stop chasing, you stop depending, you stop seeking what has always been within you. And for the first time, you begin to live with clarity, stability, and real peace.